When we lost the Honorable Justice Anton Scalia, we're all saddened, and he was such a legend in the court, and I'm really proud that President Trump has nominated a successor that worthy of filling his shoes. Judge Gorsuch has garnered respect and approval from people across the legal community. He has unrivaled bipartisan support, and it's unfortunate that the Democrats have tried to block his nomination. It's not going to work, but they tried. Recently, I had the honor of meeting Judge Gorsuch. It's kind of interesting because I wasn't on his list to visit. In fact, I'd even said, don't waste your time on me. I know your credentials. I'm going to support you anyway. And I'm not on the appropriate committees that would pass any kind of judgment. But he did call, and we met. And I'll tell you, you have to meet and talk to the guy in person to know what a kind of an individual that he really is. He is, of course, being from Oklahoma, I'm sensitive to the fact that he is the son of the West. In fact, none of our judges up there, with the exception of California, are what we would call the Western United States, in the area where people need to be properly represented. As the judge of the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, he's heard from Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, Kansas, New Mexico, and my state of Oklahoma. He knows the issues of the Western states, what we're facing, and he has the expertise to deal with them. He's handled the issues that we have come before him with a lot of care and fairness. Now, Oklahoma, of course, we know this because Oklahoma's in the 10th Circuit. His reputation is such that regardless of party affiliation, countless groups, organizations, and individuals have come out in support of Judge Gorsuch, including Neil Katyal. Neil Katyal was the acting Solicitor General in President Obama's cabinet. So he's a cabinet member of President Obama. He testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee and wrote an op-ed piece in the New York Times. Now, keep in mind, when you listen to this is a quote from an op-ed piece in the New York Times that one of the individuals from the administration of President Obama said this. This is a quote. His years on the bench reveal a commitment to judicial independence, a record that should give the American people confidence that he will not compromise principles to favor the president who appointed him, unquote. That comes from an Obama appointee. Not only is he well-liked, but he also has an impressive resume, serving as law clerk to two different judges, Supreme Court justices. He attended Columbia, Harvard, Oxford. It doesn't get any better than that. It's clear that he has the qualifications, and as recently as the last administration, that was really all you needed to be confirmed as a United States to be on the Supreme Court. But what the Democrats have done to block his nomination has never been done before, and this is significant. People don't realize, people who are critical of maybe some of the procedures that were taking place, they forget the fact that there has never been in the history of America a successful partisan filibuster of a Supreme Court nomination. Never been. This would be the first time this happened. Now, I support the majority leader in changing the rules in the face of this unprecedented action by a minority party. There's really no reason for their filibuster in this highly qualified individual other than partisanship and catering to their liberal base. Changing the rules of the Supreme Court nominations had to be done, and if the situation had been reversed, the Democrats would have done the same thing in a heartbeat, as we saw in 2013 when they did the same thing. Judge Gorsuch deserves to be on the Supreme Court. He does not deserve to be blocked because people are upset that we observed the Biden rule that is not providing for any action on a nominee for a Supreme Court vacancy once the election season is underway and they lost the election. Now, that's Joe Biden, not Jim Inhofe. In addition to this, the impeccable job and experience and educational background, he's perhaps best known for his defense of religious liberty, including a role in the dispute during the Obama administration that required employers to provide abortion-inducing drugs to their employees as part of their health insurance. One of these employers was Hobby Lobby. Now, everyone knows who Hobby Lobby is, but you didn't know him back when I knew him. I knew them back in the 70s when the Green family who started Hobby Lobby were actually operating out of their garage, making picture frames. And look at them today. I've known them for a long time, and they started out their whole business with a $600 loan. Now, they have over 700 stores across the United States and are the largest privately owned arts and crafts store in the world. Joseph Gorsuch and the Supreme Court agreed with Hobby Lobby when they upheld the religious liberty rights. I'm going to read to you his concurring opinion. It's very profound. He wrote, and this is Gorsuch, this is after they made the determination that the Hobby Lobby did not have to give these drugs to their employees. He wrote, quote, "It is not for secular courts to rewrite the religious complaint of a faithful adherent or to decide whether a religious teaching about complicity imposes too much moral disapproval on those only indirectly assisting wrongful conduct, whether an act of complicity is or isn't too attenuated from the underlying wrong is sometimes itself a matter of faith. We must respect the faith." Now, that's what he wrote in Hobby Lobby. In a very similar thing, around the same time frame, it was a case that was known now to be the Little Sisters of the Poor. He joined in an opinion defending the rights of nuns not to be forced to pay for abortion-inducing drugs in their health care plans. He said, and this is another profound statement that he made, he said, when a law demands that a person do something the person considers to be sinful, and the penalty for refusal is a large financial penalty, then the law imposes a substantial burden on that person's free exercise of religion, unquote. And it's not just petitioners of the Christian faith that Judge Gorsuch has come and sided with. He upheld the religious beliefs of a Native American prisoner and of a Muslim prisoner who found their ability to practice their faith restricted in one manner or another. He comes to his decision not because he's seeking some predetermined outcome. He comes to those decisions because that's where the facts of the law and the Constitution lead him. For example, in the Lynch case, another Oklahoma case, Gorsuch referred to the Chevron deference as a judge-made doctrine for the abdication of the judicial duty. The Chevron deference is a judicial rule that requires judges to defer to an agency's interpretation. We're talking about a bureaucracy, an agency's interpretation of the law, if the law is considered ambiguous or unclear, or if the agency's interpretation is reasonable. This deference to the agency gives them a lot of authority, a lot of power. Moreover, it can provide a lot of uncertainty to the regulated community. Judge Gorsuch wrote in the Chevron deference allows agencies to reverse, this is allowing agencies to reverse decisions, reverse its current view 180 degrees anytime based merely on the shift of a political winds and still prevail in court. You know, I know a little bit about this. I spent a lot of years being the chairman of a committee called the Environment and Public Works Committee, and we, during the Obama years, had a bureaucracy that was trying to change the law instead of following the law. And it was exactly what he was talking about in this case, Judge Gorsuch, when he talked about the Chevron deference, giving deference to a bureaucracy. Can you imagine being in business, especially a heavily regulated one, that has to worry about every 4 to 8 years that the rules might change? And how would you make your plans for such a thing? I think Gorsuch's opinion on Chevron deference is an important debate to have. Do we, as co-equal branch of government, continue to give up our powers to the administrative state, or do we take our power back and write laws as they should be implemented? Furthermore, does the judicial branch, as a co-equal branch of government, continue to give up their power of interpretation to the administrative state? These are important fundamental questions that should be addressed, and I'm glad that Judge Gorsuch his nomination has brought these cases to the light. Although Judge Gorsuch was nominated by a Republican president, this doesn't mean my colleagues on the other side of the aisle should have any concern about Judge Gorsuch's decision-making ability. You know, this is important to point out because being a judge is not about making decisions that are in the best interest of any political party, but really about making decisions based on facts and the law in the Constitution without bias. During his confirmation, he stated his judicial philosophy, saying, "I decide cases, I listen to the arguments made, I read the briefs that are put to me, I listen to my colleagues carefully, and I listen to the lawyers in the well, keeping an open mind through the entire process as best I humanly can, and I leave all the other stuff at home, and I make the decision based on the facts and the law." I mean, who can argue with that? And he's proven over a period of time that he will do that. And through the whole debate, it's become evidence that the Democrats are asking him to rule in favor of causes, not to follow the law. And this is what a judge does and should be. Regarding the roles of balance of our government, Gorsuch is what a judge should be. He believes Congress is to write the law, the executive branch is to carry them out, the judicial branch is to interpret the laws, and the confirmation of Judge Gorsuch will shape our nation for generations to come, and all of us will be able to benefit from his wise decisions. I'm looking forward to confirming Judge Neil Gorsuch. It's going to happen tomorrow, and all this will be over. And I'm proud to give him my vote, and justice will be well served as such. With that, Mr. President, I yield the floor.